You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hello, everyone. Welcome in to Watson's Playbook.
You, George Foreman, all of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. All of you. I know you got him. I know you got him picked, but the man's in trouble. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan, University of North Carolina.
Once upon a time, there was a young basketball player who had dreams of becoming one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
All right, guys. Welcome in episode number 36. Hope you guys have had a fantastic week. My week has not been so fantastic. My team lost. They choked it up. Monday, I worked about 14 hours, and so it was not a good day on Monday. So it's just been kind of a crazy week. I've been getting crap because the Green Bay Packers losing. So I got all that, the frustration, the anger, all that. I'm gonna get into it on why I'm so angry with the loss, and that's coming up in the spotlight of the week. We're gonna break down the Green Bay and Buccaneers game. What went wrong for the Green Bay Packers? We're also going to give you our Super Bowl predictions and breakdowns. We got your weekly sports update and a couple sideline notes to get to as well. So we're going to jump into the weekly sports update now. The Bucs did beat the Packers 31-26, but I'm going to leave the rest of the information because that is the spotlight of the week. Number 2, there was only one other football game. It was the Bills versus the Chiefs. Mahomes looked great as he's coming off the concussion protocol. Everyone was worried about it. Well, he looked great as he carved up the Buffalo Bills 38-24. Josh Allen did not have a very good game, but he's very young. This is his first time in the AFC Championship game facing one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and talented, the number one offense in the NFL. He kind of is one of those learning moments for him. We've seen him come into the league. We've seen him progress every year. And I know I've said that quite a bit, but he's progressed. And this is one of those moments, even his coach said, he'll learn from this moment. He'll get tougher because of it, and he'll move on. So the Bills look to be a team that are going to stick around for the future. All right, that being said, I know quickly, weekly sports update there, but I'm going to introduce my buddy. Jeff is on this episode. Welcome in, Jeff. How has your week been going, buddy?
It's been going pretty good. I just been working. Recently, I gave my wife script that she's been working on. She's been working on it for a very long time. But I asked the guy I was working with if he could take a look at it and kind of give his feedback on it and what he thinks about it and everything, since he's in that kind of industry and stuff. So that, and still doing some work for him and stuff like that. So nothing's changed too much. Nothing crazy. Nothing nothing too insane. So we're trying to figure out a couch situation right now because our couch is old and hatted, and trying to figure out where to when to pull the trigger on buying another one. So looking for that. And
I feel you in that pain. We're moving in a couple months, and I'm buying a whole bunch of new furniture for the new house. I'm trying to figure out TV or projector. I don't know which route I want to go. And me and the wife, we actually went out to Nebraska Furniture Mart this last weekend, and it's about 35, 40 minutes away from where we are. And we went out there, and it's just this big, huge, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's just a huge double-story store where you can buy everything. I mean, they have everything as far as furniture, as far as couches, dining rooms, fitness, game rooms, everything you can ask for, appliances. And we went and looked, and we didn't really find a whole lot, which we're kind of like, man, all their furniture seemed too fancy for us. And man, we're kind of bummed out. So, but, I'm trying to get the wife to let me buy a big TV. Well, the big TVs cost a lot of money, and unless you don't care about resolution and all that stuff. And so we were looking at projectors, and I don't know, I got to do my research in that and figure that out. But yeah, man, it's a pain in the butt when you go buy new furniture, man, and trying to get all the match and yes.
Yeah. So if you like check out Wayfair, they have like an app, and it's pretty cheap. It's like Amazon but for furniture.
Yeah, and there actually is an Amazon home store. They have different things, and Nebraska Furniture Mart. It's funny because a lot of this furniture that you get come from other places, and they discount them. Like a lot of the stuff said Ashley Furniture on it, so they've gotten it from Ashley Furniture, but you'll find it at a cheaper price there. We were disappointed with it. So there's a place that just opened up called Living Spaces and some different things. So we got some different options. We can go out and kind of find what we're looking for. And
because we have an opportunity to move to a bigger apartment within our building. So we've been looking into that and seeing when one pops up. And
yeah, you don't want to have to move that big ass couch twice. You don't want to buy it, and it's like, we're moving in 2 weeks.
No, and I think it was and like if you can do something within an actual complex itself, then they don't charge you that much to do it. So, which is a lot easier to move within the same complex as opposed to, leaving the actual building and going somewhere else.
Yeah. So I've done that before one time, and it's a lot better, but.
Yeah, you can kind of move things out as you're packing. So
right.
It's kind of neat to do that. But yeah, we're looking into something like that too. And then once our lease is up, then we're probably gonna.
Right. Well, if you're buying right now, the rates are extremely great. And that's probably because COVID hit and everything else. But I took advantage of it, and I got a good rate locked in on the house. So, well, it's not locked in yet, but it can't go over what they told me it could go. It actually dropped down to a 3, which is, I was like, heck yeah. So, but that's from here. That's just a whole different story there. Let's jump into though, Jeff, the sidelines, and we have a couple different things here. We start out. You sent me an article the other day about the MLBPA, the MLB Players Association, declines the MLB's universal DH and extended playoffs. Now, they brought the extended playoffs in for the coronavirus year to get more teams into the playoffs and have the opportunity to maybe get the championship. And it was more because baseball makes their money during the playoffs, and they wanted more playoff teams to make more money. They declined that. I guess the players didn't like it, and I didn't like it either. That seemed to me like there was too many teams. And then the universal DH, which I do like the DH. I thought it would be great. Just put DH in the whole league. We don't got to see pitchers go up there and hit. The players don't like it. So as of right now, that's not going to be put in Major League Baseball. Do you have any thoughts on the DH? I know, a lot of people don't like it. Some Some people do. I like the DH, but baseball purists hate the DH. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to jump into the next topic.
Okay. Let me just finish up that one real quick, just to kind of put the bow on that.
Okay.
Back to the way they were again. I don't consider the Yankees leaving the top spot in the American League. As a matter of fact, a lot of teams in the American League got worse. The Boston Red Sox got worse. I think Toronto's a legitimate team. I think that's a team to worry about. And I do not think Tampa Bay, there's a possibility Tampa Bay's somehow found pitching again. They always seem to do that. But personally, I think it doesn't worry about my team. It would be more of like the team like the Rangers. You know what I mean? Where they might have made it if they extended the playoff thing.
Oh no, Jeff! That's very generous. The Rangers are garbage, so
Well, I mean, teams that wouldn't have made it that did make it, and
they're
that's
on the bubble. I get you. That could allow that team to sneak in and then make the run, and that can happen in baseball. That happens in hockey. It doesn't. It can happen every now and then in football, but it's not very often that it happens there. But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I don't like that a lot of teams get into the playoffs in baseball the way they did it last year. But I understand why they did it, so I'm fine with going back to normal. So
yeah.
Number 2, Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions agreed to part ways. They're going to look for trade opportunities, and this is very interesting because for a long time, I believe that Matthew Stafford is a good quarterback. He throws the ball really well. He's still young. I don't know how old he is, but he's not. I think he's like 31. Maybe he's still young enough. He's got years left. He's got a good arm. He's just wasted it there in Detroit. So this opens up to, okay, well, where could Matthew Stafford go? Maybe the Denver Broncos, Jeff. You mentioned earlier that the Denver Broncos might trade for a quarterback. Is that something you've heard there or seen there in Denver?
That's a lot of the talk that I've heard is that maybe depending on the general manager that we get. But the other one, now that Matthew Stafford is a possibility, his name's being thrown around, and rightfully so. It makes sense that his name's being batted around. The only issue that I have with this, and then also Rodgers is being batted around. I doubt it.
Let me put it.
And I think that was confirmed today. There was a comment made today that somebody within the organization said they're not getting rid of him.
Aaron Rodgers is not going anywhere, Jeff.
Outside of that, it's
outlandish.
I mean, is that a situation where it would all of a sudden make us a legitimate team to obviously make the playoffs, but then go deep in the playoffs and have some kind of a Peyton Manning situation? Maybe.
Matt Stafford, yes. Deshaun Watson, yes. Those are 2 quarterbacks, and we can kind of throw him out there too because Deshaun Watson's going to force his way out of Houston. He will be on a different team next season. Now, he said he wants to go to the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins. So, interesting teams to go to. Miami Dolphins are up and coming. They just picked up Tua. He wants to go there. Those are his options, I guess, as far as because I guess he has no trade clause. So if they try to trade him away somewhere else, he couldn't. He could decline it. So, but I think Deshaun Watson is the better of the 2 quarterbacks. Obviously, he's younger. He had one of his best seasons this last season, even though the team failed. Right, the team did not do good. They have no future picks as far as first-round picks coming up. It's going to be hard to get that team better. So I'm fine with Watson forcing his way out.
Yeah.
I
Sorry, we're having technical issues like crazy. So now I've actually plugged my headphones into the computer itself. It should fix it. I guess I'll talk about it later. But I don't want the Broncos to be put in a situation like we're with Manning, where when Manning was over, when he left, where we were back to square one again. The proposed idea is trading for Matthew Stafford and trading, obviously, draft pieces and then giving up Locke to them. I don't really like that idea. You know what I mean? Because I guess in my mind, I'm going, what about, I mean, you're kind of already given up on him. You can control him for almost no money. And then with Matthew Stafford, it's like, okay, great, we have him, but is he going to be healthy? Is it even going to be a right fit? I don't know. It's just a weird thing because it's like, on paper, does it sound like a great idea? Yes. What happens and what does this mean for the Broncos 5 years from now? I don't know.
Well, it all falls down on, do they believe Drew Lock is a quarterback? Because if you bring Matthew Stafford in and sit Drew Lock on the bench, if you don't, I mean, I'm guessing you're going to have to trade him because you can't. I don't think you can sit him on the bench and be like,
no, you're not going to. We're not going to bring him. We're not going to bring him in and sit Lock. That would be so. Yeah, that would be bad.
Well, I don't know if the Lions want, maybe they take him. I don't know if you go with the quarterback. I don't know if you go get a veteran quarterback. I would like it. I think Matthew Stafford's good enough. I think he can come there in Denver and be good. But I think if you go on a quarterback, I think you move up in the draft and draft a younger one to sit behind Drew Lock and see where that goes in the future. But my number one team, Jeff, that makes the most sense is the Indianapolis Colts. They need a quarterback. They got Phillip Rivers for a 1-year stopgap. They got a good team. They play great defense. They run the ball really well. That would benefit Matthew Stafford. Play action pass. Oh, Matthew Stafford used to playing in the dome, Jeff. The Colts play in the dome as well. I think it works out perfect there. They have a lot of draft capital. They have a lot of money. I think he ends up in Indianapolis. That'd be my number one bet. I think it makes all the sense in the world. And if he does go there, I think that automatically moves them in to a top 3 team in the AFC, fighting for a potential Super Bowl in the next couple of years, because Stafford and the team that is, he would go into probably the best position, I think, as far as personnel in the NFL goes. Deshaun Watson forcing his way out of Houston, it's going to happen. But the New York Jets, you really want to go to the Jets? I don't understand that one. The organization's been run crappy. I guess maybe he likes the new head coach they just hired. So we'll see where he goes. The quarterback carousel, it looks to be up again this year. It was, last offseason, it was the quarterback carousel with Tom Brady moving around, Phillip Rivers moving around, and all these other things going forward. It looks like we could get another interesting offseason of quarterbacks. And Aaron Rodgers is not going anywhere.
Did you see that same report I did?
Yes, I've seen all the reports about Aaron Rodgers. He came out, he goes on the Pat McAfee show, and he talked about how, there's no reason he wouldn't be here next year. The Mark Murphy, not the owner, but basically the owner of the Green Bay Packers, said, "We're not idiots. Aaron Rodgers is not going anywhere." But there's a rumor that Aaron Rodgers wants more money. And that's an issue I have, Jeff, because he already takes up 20% of the cap. If he wants more money, I don't know what Green Bay is going to do. They can't let him go. And we're kind of veering off in a different discussion here because
we can talk about that with the site,
let's round it in, Jeff.
Well, are we at the last? Was that the last topic?
the last topic of sidelines. We're getting off to a little bit of Aaron Rodgers talk here. The rumors going on. His future in Green Bay.
Sideline report all over the place tonight.
Yeah, we were all over the place. We had a couple different reports, mostly football still. We got that baseball in there. We haven't talked about, I'm telling you guys, basketball is coming up after the football season ends. We will get into basketball. We will get into other things, but football takes over the majority because, honestly, it's my number one sport. I think yours too, Jeff, maybe baseball, but it gets all the ratings. Super Bowl's coming up. There's a lot of storylines it gives us.
So let's get into the spotlight.
This is something I've been dying to talk about, Jeff, and not the good way. This is not something that I was going to expect to come on this episode and talk about my team freaking losing another NFC Championship game. The spotlight of the week is breaking down the Green Bay Packers loss to the Bucs. The Green Bay Packers lose to the Bucs 31-26 in Lambeau Field. I don't even know where to start with this, Jeff. All right. I don't even know where to start. So here's I'm going to lead you into the game, okay? We're looking at Tom Brady, all right? We all know Tom Brady left the Patriots and went to the Bucs. The Bucs struggled a little bit, but they got back on their feet this season. They went 11-5. They were the 5th seed, the first wild card in the playoffs. Green Bay, number 1 seed, locked in number 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers has never played a NFC Championship game in Lambeau Field. No more excuses. Aaron Rodgers has no more excuses to get the job done. He had a top 10 defense this year, Jeff. They were the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. They were getting it done. They just come off a win of beating the Rams. They put up 32 points last week against the Rams. They come out in this game and they don't look like themselves. So the Packers are down 21-10 at halftime. That right there, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So right before half, the score is 14-10. We're driving down the field. Aaron Rodgers throws an interception. Now, I'm not one to complain about refs, Jeff. But our player was being held. Guy intercepted Aaron Rodgers. They let him fight all night, Jeff. They let these guys compete all night. And I'm like, okay, no problem. They intercept Aaron Rodgers, okay? There's like 25 seconds on the clock. The Bucs are trying to get something going. They really can't, right? They really can't get anything going. And I leaned over to my wife and I said, look, if we go to halftime 14-10 or even 17-10, I'm going to feel happy. I'm going to feel like, all right, that's still a good spot to be in. There's 8 seconds, Jeff. 8 seconds on the dang clock. And our wonderful, amazing defensive coordinator, Mike Pettinen, calls the worst possible coverage for this play. The only, by God, Jeff, the only play that can kill you there is giving up a touchdown. The only play. The defense should have been, and they prevent defense, tackle anything in front of you. Don't allow people behind you. What does our defensive coordinator, Mike Pettinen, call? He calls a man coverage with 1 high safety. Well, guess what happens, Jeff? Kevin King, who's been beat all night like he stole something, gets ran right by. He didn't even lay a finger on his guy. Brady throws a 40-yard touchdown pass, and we go from 14-10 to 21-10 going into halftime. Whew, I'm angry. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm super mad at that point. That right there, I was up and down on Mike Pettinen all year. He brought this team in. Last year he was okay. This year, at the beginning of the year, we looked like crap. Couldn't stop the run. We've gotten better every week. Every week we look like we were doing great. We were stopping teams under 16 points a game. We look really good, Jeff, on defense. I'm like, man, okay, Mike Pettinen, it's all going to come down to next week. And he calls that. That is boneheaded, dumb football. And our head coach called him out after the end of the game because of it. Boom. Packers get the ball back. All right. We got to chip away. We get the ball back. The second half. The first drive. Aaron Jones fumbles the football. Bucks pick it up. 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. We're down 28-10. Just like that, Aaron Jones gets hurt on the play if he really was hurt. All right. That's embarrassing. Okay. We're down 28-10. I'm so mad at this point. Woo! I'm angry. Another choke fest for the Green Bay Packers. Look, last season there was a lot of stuff that led us to be 13-3. There was a lot of things that fell our way. The numbers, the statistics, the analytics say we shouldn't have been 13-3. I had no hope last season. This season, we were playing great. We looked like we were unstoppable going into this game. I predicted us to win. I thought we would win, and we come out and we choke. So not only were we down 28-10, Jeff, at this point, Packers defense steps up. They only allowed 10 points. That was the touchdown. The only touchdown they allowed in the second half was because Aaron Jones fumbled the football and gave him the ball in between, right there at basically the 10-yard line. Packers defense steps up, only allows 10 points in the second half. They pick off Tom Brady 3 freaking times, okay? And Rodgers did nothing with it. Rodgers scores 0 points off those turnovers. When you pick off Tom Brady 3 times, you better win the damn game, Jeff. The offense didn't get the job done. They failed. They failed their defense, stepping up in the second half. They eventually, Jeff, they come back, they cut it to a 5-point lead. And Aaron Jones goes to the sideline, okay? And this is before they picked it off. My bad. He goes to the sideline and he pats number 55 on the chest and says, "Get a freaking stop." They got 3 of them, Jeff. And the offense, after those 3 interceptions, produced 10 points combined. They finally cut it to 5 points. They're trying to get a 2-point conversion to cut it to a 3-point lead. Just a field goal tie. What happens? St. Brown drops a 2-point conversion. It was tipped. It was still right in his hand. He drops it. Oh, so, okay, it's a 5-point lead. Our defense is stopping Tom Brady. Our offense has to get their heads out of their butt and get the job done. This is on the MVP's back. It's on his shoulders to get his team to the Super Bowl. Excuse me. There was a drive down where Aaron Rodgers drives down the field, tries to force feed Adams 3 times in a row. And, of course, double coverage, high pass. He missed a wide open Allen Lazard in the end zone. Would have been a touchdown. We had to settle for a field goal. This, Jeff, is where this is the icing on the cake. After all these blunders that have happened, we drive down the field, down by 5 with a chance to win the game. We get to a 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. We run 2 plays, we get nothing. On 3rd and goal from the 8-yard line, Aaron Rodgers runs out, and he looks like he has all the room in the world to either run for a touchdown or get at least to the 2 or 1 yard line to make it close for a 4th down, because we have to go for it. There was only 2 minutes, a little over 2 minutes at this point. So Aaron Rodgers, instead of running the ball, he throws it into double coverage, gets the ball knocked down. It's 4th and goal from the 8, Jeff. And this is the worst. This is the icing on the cake. I just gave you all the blunders of what the Green Bay Packers did. This is the icing on the cake. This is the one that's not sitting well with Aaron Rodgers. It's not sitting well with me as a Green Bay Packer fan. And our coach is getting killed for it. 4th and goal with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. Our coach opts to kick a field goal. He kicks a field goal. We have 3 timeouts, thinking we stop Tom Brady. We have 3 timeouts. We can stop Tom Brady and get the ball back with plenty of time to go down there and drive. He takes the ball out of the MVP's hands. We're down by 8 at this point in the game. We're down by 8. If we score a touchdown, go for a 2-point conversion, we tie the game. We don't. We kick a field goal, Jeff. Our coach says the analytics this, and the analytics says this is what you do. But the analytics doesn't tell you that Tom Brady's on the other freaking sideline, probably the best 2-minute quarterback in the history of the NFL. Your defense has been playing good, but not good enough. Your offense hasn't scored a lot of points. Who says even if you do stop Tom Brady, you're going to get back down there? And he takes the ball out of the best player's hand on the field, the MVP of the league. MVP, Jeff, of the league. And he sits him on the bench, hoping that his defense can get a stop. That is outrageous. Green Bay Packer fans have lived and died on Brett Favre's decision-making and his arm. When we lived and died on it. We've done it for years. We're used to it. Brett Favre would come in and he would throw a game-losing interception, and it would kill us. We would be like, oh, man. But it was Brett freaking Favre, and when he was on, and we loved it. I'm fine with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball there. 4th and goal from the 8-yard line, and he pulls Aaron Rodgers, kicks a field goal. It puts us down by 5. So if we do make a stop, we have a chance to win the game. We don't make a stop because there's a holding penalty on Kevin King, who's been beat all freaking night. The refs, have not called this penalty all freaking game. There was 3 holds on the Packers wide receivers that weren't called. This one gets called, and that seals the deal. Game over. End of discussion. I lay down to you exactly what happened, why Green Bay sucked, why every little blunder they had in this game. The biggest issue I have is not giving Aaron Rodgers the ball on 4th and goal from the 8 with a chance to tie the game with a Super Bowl on the line. You set your best player, the MVP of the league, and look, I have been a big Matt LaFleur fan, Jeff. He's come in the last 2 years. He's been amazing, been fantastic. Should have been coach of the year last year, should have been coach of the year this year, but he won't ever get that because Aaron Rodgers is so damn good. But I questioned his decision there. And several people, that's what I've been getting. Why did your coach not let him go for it? That's what kills me. He took our best player off the field, and that's why Aaron Rodgers felt so good after this loss. Not only did they lose, Aaron Rodgers falls to 1-4 in NFC Championship games. Aaron Rodgers had a good stat line, Jeff. He threw over 300 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers is one main issue why we lost this football game. Jeff, Aaron Rodgers choked. This offense choked. What else you want to throw in there, Jeff? And people, you cannot bash Aaron Rodgers to the Green Bay fan base because he is almighty. Aaron Rodgers choked, Jeff, but he choked this game. You can have your 300 yards. You can have your 3 touchdown passes. But when you pick off Tom Brady 3 times, you don't score any freaking points, off of him. You muster up 10 points on those drives, or 10 yards combined for 3 drives. That was pathetic, man. It was pathetic. And Aaron Rodgers' legacy he'll go down as one of the best to ever throw the football, Jeff. But he'll also go down as I don't want to say choker. He'll go down as the most underachieving quarterback with a set of skills that he has, man. And it's a damn shame. Boom. All right. I said it. I got it off my chest.
So, I mean, personally, when it comes to everything, I was shocked. I didn't, obviously, we both picked, obviously, the Packers to win this game. It's not that I was worried about Tom Brady in this game. It was more of the defense of Tampa Bay. It to me, it's weird because you would think, okay, yeah, you picked Tom Brady off 3 times. You should be able to score some points off that, and you should. But I can't deny the Tampa Bay defense. I know that Rodgers is good at what he does, but if the defense is good is as good as Tampa Bay's defense is, and has carried this team to this point, because I don't think it's Tom Brady that's carried this team.
It's not.
I don't. Then personally, he went up against a defense that pretty much owned him, and they've done that before.
Oh yeah.
So something is there where either they know what he's going to do, they can read his body language better. Something's there. So that's just a bad matchup. Seems like. At least this year. But also falls back on Packers defense too. You know Tom Brady. You've played against him probably a number of times. I know some of those players may have not played against him, but you've seen him enough. There's enough tape. There's enough everything to know what this guy can do and defensively what you can do to stop him. So it's not like this mystery guy coming out of the draft. You don't really know what to expect. This is one of the oldest NFL players in the game. So, and enough tape to go around tenfold. So it's like, I think, in my opinion, this team, there were a number of issues. Obviously, not scoring when you have given the opportunity to. I think Tampa Bay aren't they the most? They take the ball away the most in the NFL. Isn't that what I've heard?
They don't. I don't know if they have the most turnovers, but they score on. They take the score.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't allow your team to take that ball away from them. And I think at one point, didn't the Packers lose a couple turnovers?
Yeah, we lost 2. We had the interception that Rodgers threw right before half that set up that touchdown because of the horrible defensive call. And then Aaron Jones fumbled the ball twice. We recovered one of them, and he fumbled. We were down 21-10. Coming the very first drive, second play of the game, second play of the second half, he fumbles the ball, giving the Bucs the ball back, and they scored 3 plays later because they're inside the 10-yard line. Now we're down 28-10.
That's something that cannot happen.
No,
not against Tom Brady. I don't care if he hasn't really carried this team or not. You give him 10 yards, he's scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's the thing is people want to act, and then look, don't get me wrong. Tom Brady's a good quarterback. Tom Brady,
he's a great
goat. I'm going to say it.
Prime. I know a lot of people want to sit here and say, "Oh, Tom Brady hasn't dropped. He hasn't missed a step not once." But the funny thing is I remember specifically hearing not too long ago where everybody was sitting there going, "Oh, no. He's lost a step.
Yeah,
he's hit the ceiling." So it's like, how could he just move to Tampa Bay, drink some of that Florida water, and just bam, Popeye the Sailor Man?
He did.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I see, and that's the thing too. It bugs me too because everyone's like, Tom Brady's great. He's the GOAT. This is his 10th Super Bowl appearance. By all means, the GOAT, the best quarterback to ever play the game. I'm whatever.
He's not a robot.
He's not scare me in this game.
People.
Yeah, he didn't scare me in this game. He joined a team that's loaded with a good defense and loaded with great offensive weapons. Great offensive weapons. And to sit here and act like he just took the Buccaneers, or not the Buccaneers, took the what I'm trying to think of. It's like they're acting like he went to the Cincinnati Bengals and took them from 4-12 to the Super Bowl. No.
The stat line on that. What's the stat line on the grand?
What's the what?
on the game for him, for Tom Brady. Yards thrown.
Go about it. Oh, he threw for 200 and something yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
And that's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, he didn't play that great this game.
So I'm going to tell you something right now. Let's fast forward to the Super Bowl, right? Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay, Brady, Mahomes. Brady throws 3 interceptions. They win that game?
No.
They lose that game.
Now, they played each other this year, Jeff. And the Chiefs won. So, we're not trying to hate on Tom Brady. We're just saying he's not the major reason they're winning. They're winning because their defense is good. They have the number 1 rushing defense in the league. They shut down. We could not run the ball, period. And they play tight coverage and physical coverage.
You make a team one-dimensional, you can beat a team. No matter
Their offensive line, Jeff, is freaking amazing. We barely got Tom Brady, but when we did, he threw us 3 interceptions, and they held Rashawn Gary all flipping night and no penalties called. But you brought up the Chiefs. Let's jump into.
Well, I'm gonna say one more thing. I do not understand some of the calls that were made towards the end of the game. I do agree with the fact that I don't know there were. I didn't watch the whole game. I did watch towards the end of the game. I was listening to the game because I was listening to the broadcast when I was running some errands on Sunday. So I was listening to it and listening to what them commentated and everything. So if I'm out typically and I cannot watch it, I'll try to tune in. But in my opinion, I know for a fact from the last game I saw of Tampa Bay, they played dirty. They're not a clean team, especially defensively. They're not a clean team. Like they don't sit they'll get it. If they could get away with something, they'll get away with it. If they can get away with it. If they can test it and they don't get called on something, they'll keep doing it. So when I saw them play, holding, quote unquote, I looked and I'm like, weird. Because they were holding it earlier in the game and nothing was called. So who knows how many times they were doing that?
And that's the thing too, Jeff. There was other athletes of other sports like chiming in saying, you haven't called this call all game. And when the game is on the line, you call it. That's outrageous. The pass needs to be unacceptable as well.
Unless it is a blatant, the ball was over his head.
Yep.
The ball was sailing a tower above his head. There was no way, even if he didn't grab the jersey, that ball was nowhere near him.
They don't call that call. Aaron Rodgers gets the ball back. I'm not saying he goes down and brings us to the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
I'm just saying there's an opportunity.
Exactly. And that's where I look at it and I go, I don't understand. When it was blatantly thrown to where he couldn't even catch it. Even if he didn't pull the jersey and he didn't run, I don't think he was going to catch that ball.
No, the ball was too high. And on that same play, Rashawn Gary on the right side is getting held, all kinds of held, no penalty. They throw, and the flag came in 3 minutes after the play.
Yeah, it came in late.
Dude. And that's my issue. I'll sit here and tell you, I'm not one to complain about the refs. If you listen to these podcasts, I don't complain about the refs. Don't leave it up to the refs. We left a lot on the field, right? Well, I just went through and told you, we left a lot of opportunity on the field to get the job done. But this was the NFC Championship game. It did affect it, but that's not the reason we lost the game. I'm not going to sit here and say it was.
I'm a huge proponent of when it's towards the end of the game, just let them play. Let them play the game.
Unless it's the Saints and the Rams, and he blatantly lays them out, and the ball's not even.
Well,
That I get. this is like, okay. And he was holding his jersey. I agree. And that is a penalty. They haven't called it all damn night.
Yeah, if you're gonna allow him to be rough, then allow it on both ends, allow it on both sides. I mean, if you're gonna throw a flag, first of all, that penalty, if you think about it, even if you go off the one that he was holding the jersey, if you looked on that in that same play, that you told me that one of the defensive linemen is being held. Then what does that mean? Offset penalties.
That should be offsetting penalties.
Offset penalties, fourth down.
No, offset penalties would replay.
Okay, replay third down.
You don't know what happens. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and
it's unfortunate. I think that, especially towards the end of a game, it's different whenever it's, during the game. It doesn't, to me, I'm not a person who's like, oh man, you didn't call it in the first quarter, the second quarter, and did all these things. But I think it's when something happens to where it affects the end of it, where I'm kind of like, yeah, that's a little weird. I look at it as, if you're going to allow these people to bump and run, and then in the fourth quarter they bump and run, they're kind of jostling at the line of scrimmage before play, and you back.
Right.
I look at it and I go, wait a minute, what? It's just, I don't know, dude. That to me is what bothers me. Don't do it. If you're going to allow it, set the tone from the very beginning. Don't all of a sudden set a different tone 2 minutes left in the game. It doesn't make any sense. So, and I get it. Even in baseball, same thing. There's this umpire who usually calls strikes a little bit outside the zone. So fine. But whenever the pitcher throws the ball and it's in the strike zone, don't sit there and go ball.
Right.
And it's like, wait a minute.
And when the closer comes in, and it's like, wait, you've been calling this a freaking strike all night.
Yeah.
And
yeah. That's annoying. That's the human aspect of the game, and it's annoying. All
right, Jeff. Super Bowl predictions. Let's jump into that real quick before we end this episode. Now,
the Chiefs won. Big surprise. I thought the Bills were going to win. I thought the Bills' defense was legit. Obviously, they're not.
And the Packers had the number one scoring offense. We averaged the most points per game. The Chiefs, though, were overall the number one scoring, or the number one offense in the NFL as far as yards, passing, all that stuff. So they're very hard to stop. They were talking about the best duo, the best tight end wide receiver duo ever in the NFL, and that they say it's Travis Kelce and Hill. They're already the best duo in the NFL history, and my God, they're good. And we talked about it last week. What can the Bills not allow Casey to do? They cannot allow Kelce and Hill to get over 100 yards each. That happened. They're just very hard to stop. Andy Reid's a great freaking coach. He's finally got his quarterback. He is the best quarterback in football, in my opinion, except this year, because that always goes to Aaron Rodgers, of course, the MVP. But going into this game, Jeff, the Chiefs, I think, win this game. Now, the Buccaneers' defense is good. They will get to Patrick Mahomes. He's going to have to scramble. He's going to have to get out of the pocket. I'm interested to see how they're able to slow down the Bucs offense, or the Chiefs' offense with Gill and Kelce there. See what the Bucs can do. Tom Brady's going to be uncomfortable in this game, and I think they're going to get to him, or maybe not get to him, because their offensive line's really good. They're going to mix and match that defense up. They're going to try and confuse Tom Brady. It's going to be hard to do because Tom Brady's been around a long time. And I think they get Antonio Brown back. I got the Chiefs winning this one, and I got them. I think it's going to be a closer game than we expect because the Bucs defense is extremely good. But I got the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes winning his second Super Bowl this year.
I got nobody winning this game.
But
I got a
tie.
I got a damn tie. A lot of things bother me about this game. A lot of things. I don't like Kansas City, obviously.
You're being a Denver fan. Yeah, it's not a team.
Obvious. And I definitely don't. See Tom Brady win another.
I think we can all agree we don't want Tom Brady to win another. And Tampa Bay, we forgot to mention, Jeff, it's the first time in history that a home team is playing in their not a home team, but a team is playing at home for a Super Bowl. So this is home field advantage for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All planned, Brian. Roger Goodell was pulling the strings.
They must have paid those refs a little bit more than Green Bay did, and that's what happened there. So, no, I'm just joking.
I don't know. Like, I guess if you want to go with the pretty option, the more popular option, the option that every single NFL fan, no matter who is fan of what, where, whatever, a lot of people are going to be picking Kansas City. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't like Tom Brady, not just because, some of it's attitude, some of it's the way he presents himself, things he said in the media, comments he's made about other players, that bother me. That's some of the stuff that bothers me, but some of it's also the way that they played in New England, with the whole sparring on stuff and defeating footballs and weird stuff, So that kind of puts a dark cloud over his career. As good as he was, and as good as he is still, as good as he is, that dark cloud's still there, and a lot of people still talk about it. It's not go anywhere. Now, if he wins this Super Bowl, that dark cloud becomes a little bit less. Because you can't sit there and go, oh, well, it's the Belichick era, and it's the cheat gate, and it's the deflating footballs and all this stuff. You can't say that anymore because he won without him. So there's that.
And I know we like to sit here and talk about how the Patriots cheated and what they did. It's been proven that they did, and it's more angry that the NFL didn't do a dang thing about it. But
one of them came to Denver and cheated. Josh McDaniels.
Tom Brady has been to 10 Super Bowls. I doubt he cheated to get to all of them. You know what I'm saying? So in the whole argument of whether was it Bill Belichick or Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's showing him that it wasn't Bill Belichick.
I don't think you can even say that. I know some people want to sit there and go, oh, no, it's Tom Brady. No, I don't think you can even say that right now with the team he's on right now because of who is on the team. If he went to the Jets and did this, that would be a different story.
It's exactly right, Jeff. That's just exactly where I'm going. He went to a stacked team, had a great defense, had a great offense, and he just filled in. And if he went to the Jets, if he went to the Jacksonville Jaguars and went to the Super Bowl, we're all going, my God, this Tom Brady guy, I hate him even more. He's the best ever to do it, which he probably is. But Bill Belichick, he has no quarterback. He has nobody on offense. His defense, he had like 10, 12 players sit out because of COVID. All this stuff going on. He don't even have a full roster up there. You can't even bring this argument up. And I don't know why it has to be an argument at all. They both played their part. Bill Belichick was a smart defensive coach. They had good offensive coordinators. Tom Brady made the right throws when he made the right reads, did this and that, and they worked together like a quarterback and coach should. And it worked out perfect. They've been fantastic for a long time.
Right.
I don't see why there has to be the argument. But you can't tell me that Tom Brady's won the argument here. Coaching in the NFL, to me, is the most important sport for coaching. They bring in their whole systems, their whole offensive mentality and defensive mentality. And you got to find players that work that way and can fit your schemes and do all this stuff. And
I think also there's so much analytics behind everything. It is impossible for players to ad lib and improv. You know, like it's rare for players to do that. Maybe back in the 90s, you know, back during the Favre era. But,
yeah.
I
want a coach. I've always said this before. I want a coach that knows analytics by all means. I want analytics on my team, but I want my coach to have that gut feeling too. I want him to say, hey, and Matt LaFleur didn't have it on the fourth and goal to say, hey, analytics say do this. But hell, Tom Brady's on the other sideline, guys. We got to go for it here. That didn't happen. Not that he doesn't have that aspect of it. It didn't happen there. Analytics.
When that play was about to happen, in my mind, I would have thought, you know what? This is Rodgers' John Elway dive moment.
This is his moment.
Where it's like, hike the ball, act like you're going for the passes, and then run. And don't even think about stopping until you get towards that end zone and dive in and just take the hit. Because if he had done something like that, that would have been one of those plays where I'm like, man, that was a career play right there. And they weren't far. They weren't far.
No, and that's the biggest thing too is, you know, Aaron Rodgers could have ran it on third down. He had it. Now a lot of people are like he was going to score a touchdown. I don't think he would have scored a touchdown. He probably would have been tackled at the 1 or 2 yard line, but it would have made a manageable fourth down. Maybe made the decision better for Matt LaFleur. But they asked Matt LaFleur after the game about it, and he said the decision was basically because they went 3 plays and didn't gain 1 yard. We had all your timeouts. The analytics say this. And I get all that. And even Aaron Rodgers says, I understand the logic, but it wasn't my decision. So that's one that's going to haunt Green Bay for a while. And, you know, Green Bay I can't sit here and say that Green Bay is a bad team and all that stuff. Green Bay's been one of the most successful franchises in the NFL. They've been relevant. They win a lot of division titles. They get to the playoffs. Back-to-back NFC championship trips. But Green Bay is just tired of the almost, and we almost did it. We almost did this. Aaron Rodgers is so talented. He deserves more success. He deserves more rings. Brett Favre only got 1. We wasted Brett Favre's career. We're wasting Aaron Rodgers' career as a franchise. That is an abomination. We Packer fans, I really wanted this one for Aaron Rodgers. He deserves it. I don't know if he'll get another one. This is probably Green Bay's best chance to get one.
I mean, needless to say, to kind of clear what we were talking about a little bit. I mean, when it came to Tom Brady, it's not. I don't think for 1 second he is the end all be all of the reason why they're there. And a lot of people want to point to that. And again, going back to the Packer part of that. I mean, if Rodgers had more weapons, I know people were talking about that, bringing in some more options for him, maybe that would have been the difference. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, Jeff, and people want to bring that up all the time. Why didn't y'all draft? And I get drafting a quarterback was interesting, drafting Jordan Love. They did it with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. They drafted Aaron Rodgers almost the exact same time they did with Brett Favre in that time and the draft and the. Look, this team just scored the most points per game in the NFL. He's got plenty of options. He's got plenty of wide receivers. He's got plenty of talent around him. The offensive line was one of the best in the NFL. This might have been the best in an offensive line I've ever seen us have. That was my thing going into this. Whose legacy in these 4 quarterbacks coming into these championship games had the most to win or lose? And it was definitely Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady adding 1 more ring doesn't do anything. If he loses, it doesn't do anything. Patrick Mahomes won 1 last year. He's young. And Josh Allen, this is the first time he's ever sniffed the AFC championship game. He looked like it. This was the year for Aaron Rodgers. Look, there was no more excuses, Jeff. There was no more. They had home field advantage. He had the game coming to Lambeau Field. No more excuses. We scored 31 points per game. He has plenty of help. No more excuses. The offensive line is the number 5 in the NFL altogether. This defense is a top 10 defense. That's always been the Achilles heel. Aaron Rodgers playoff losses. The defense has given up over 30 points, maybe even 40 points. There was no more excuses, Jeff.
Yeah.
No more excuses. They couldn't get the job done, and they choked. And that's straight up what it is. And it kills me to say, because I'm a diehard bleed green and yellow Packer fan, and some of the people might listen to this and go, man, this guy doesn't like Green Bay. I'm a realist. I'm going to tell you how it is. And that's exactly what happened, Jeff. And it pains me to say Aaron Rodgers was gutted after this. And this team's going to look different. We got a lot of decisions to make as far as who we keep, who we let go. The salary cap. There's rumors that Aaron Rodgers wants more money. It's going to be an interesting offseason.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting offseason for sure. I mean, and I digress. I mean, I'm going to just say what it is and go. I'll pick KC if I have to pick somebody. I don't want to, but I think it would have been a lot more of a compelling Super Bowl to see the Bills versus the Packers than KC versus.
And I, if we made it, we're not beating Kansas City. They're just too dang good. And and eventually, my buddy was talking about the other day. Eventually, Kansas City keeps winning. People will turn on them. People don't like teams to win 4, 5, 6.
No, yeah, they don't like. They don't. I mean, you're talking to a person who people refer to my baseball team as the evil empire. So
yeah,
I mean, so yeah, that's
we want to see something different, and I think and it's interesting these next couple of years, Jeff, as we talk about different. I don't know about you, but this is the way I feel. We've been blessed to see a lot of good quarterbacks through our time watching football, and I saw the late years of John Elway and Brett Favre and Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers and freaking Brady, and now we saw these young guns coming in. We're seeing the end of eras. Drew Brees is going to be gone. Tom Brady has one more year. I think if he wins it, he'll retire. I don't know. We'll see where he goes. Ben Roethlisberger, who knows if he comes back, if he's going to retire or not. It's kind of getting to the point where our old legends, who are some of the best to ever play the game, are kind of going away, and we get these young guns coming in. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see these young guns come in and take over. And I just love the football, man. I love the football. Well, I hate not getting to the Super Bowl, but at least we made it to the NFC Championship game. We were the number 1 seed in the NFC, and we'll hopefully draft better and make our hard decisions over the off season and come back fighting for next season. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Broncos and who they draft and how they draft and what kind of free agents they get. And personally, I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but if I had to personally pick, I would try to. I want to see Locke next year. Just my personal preference. Just kind of, I want to see something. I want to see something homegrown. I saw the Peyton Manning come in and dominate, and it was awesome. But once he left, we were back to nothing again. So, yeah, I mean, I know that's not the popular opinion locally, but
no, I want to see you guys go after Matthew Stafford or Deshaun Watson or draft a quarterback. But that's just me, and I don't know. I think Denver's close. I think they are, and quarterback is just the most important position. And I don't get to watch a lot of Denver Bronco games, and I haven't watched a lot of Locke. So, I mean, I like homegrown stuff. I like homegrown talent. I just think being able to have that talent and control that talent and build that relationship from the ground up and know that person could be loyal to that team. I don't know. There's something to that. It's kind of like why like with Rodgers. I mean, he was homegrown talent. You can't just find that all the time. So no, and those free agent signings are a flash in the pan. Yeah, that's what I don't like. you always want to see in any sport, you draft a guy, you drafted him, you believed in him, you coach him up and you turn into something. You're going, that was all of us, along with his talent and educating him on the game. And it's good. It's good to know that also proves that your team can do that. And Green Bay has done that with Aaron Rodgers. Now Aaron Rodgers had a lot of talent. My Texas Rangers, Jeff, for decades show that they cannot produce talent. They draft guys, and they do not have a good developing team to bring those guys up into the major leagues. I know we're just different sports, but you get the same kind of concept there, and so.
And the Broncos have been kind of, they've hit quite a bit, and I think they've also missed quite a bit, and this is the last position that we need to hit. You know what I mean? We need to hit this one, and I would love it to be Locke. I like Locke's personality. I like his humbleness. He's not full of himself. Fans have booed him in our stadium. He would go in the underground tunnel to the locker room before halftime and said, "You'll regret that," and came out and proved that. That's a good player, to be able to be booed and not cry about it, but prove himself. You can't buy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Cam Newton got booed, he would curl up in the ball and just cry. So that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, I mean
that aren't coachable. You either have them or you don't.
Exactly.
Leadership and.
It's like, needless. I mean, the Super Bowl, it's gonna be a gun show for sure, possibly. So it's gonna be one that fans like. They like the high scoring, whatever. Me personally, I like the defensive kind of thing where it's a low scoring game. You don't know what's gonna happen and come down to the last whatever. But it's gonna be a high scoring game, so it's gonna make a lot of people happy.
I agree with you. All right, Jeff. I think that's going to wrap up this episode. I was able to get that off my chest. I've been holding on to it for a couple of days. It's kind of festering on it, and I was impressed.
I want to give one more before we end it. I do want to just reiterate one thing. Not reiterate, but speak of one thing real quick. This marks the first year anniversary of Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
And the death of Kobe Bryant. So there's a lot of really awesome tributes on Twitter, and I think ESPN talks about it a few times. So that's it's weird. I didn't even think about it until I knew it was a year, last year, but I forgot when, and so until today. So yeah, if anybody wants to go out and see some of those tributes that were put together, they're pretty cool. So I might put something in towards the end of the episode, maybe just like a little bit of a speech that he gave, some kind of something that I can find on YouTube and kind of insert it into the end of the podcast. So, but yeah, I wanted everybody to remember that because that was a crazy moment.
Yes. Very sad, tragic moment for Kobe and his daughter and all the people on board the helicopter. And I will always remember that day being at work and when I found that out, and I, being a Kobe Bryant fan and just man, he's the reason I'm a Laker fan. And I remember I came home and I cried into my wife's arms. I cried, Jeff. I was literally in tears, and I said, "This feels weird because I didn't know Kobe Bryant." But just thinking about him, what he's meant to me growing up, his daughter and his family, that's now they got to move on without them, and that's tough. And I follow her on Instagram and Facebook and go through her journey of grieving with her, and it's been an interesting year. There's been a lot of tributes, and I don't know, Jeff, if I've seen someone pass away that's the tributes are insane. People around the world, in China, all across nations, giving tributes to Kobe Bryant that you didn't even know that they knew who Kobe Bryant was in some of these small countries. And it's insane, man. The amount of respect everyone had for him, and he touched the world. And it's crazy to think that was a year ago. It's crazy to think he's not here with us anymore. And something popped up. I'm going to watch it after this episode, after we get done here. It's Shaquille O'Neal talks about what he thinks. It popped up and says Shaquille O'Neal does an interview, talks about what he thinks Kobe would think about all the tributes to him. So I had that on my phone. I'm going to watch that when we get done here. But thanks for reminding me. We got wrapped up here in the football, and but that was a year ago today, which is crazy. And it's a year ago today. That's before COVID took off, and so much has happened this past year. So, but
yeah,
definitely a sad moment. And yeah, they actually they tried to interview Marc Gasol the other day, and they were like, we're coming up on the Marc Gasol, he's joined the Lakers this year, and they asked him, hey, we're coming up on the 1 year of Kobe Bryant's death, and he stopped him. He said, hey, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about Kobe Bryant. He said, I'm not comfortable talking about it. I can't talk about it. I just can't emotionally talk about it. So he refused to talk about it, interview it, because it is so emotional for him to do so that he didn't even want to talk about it. So yeah, still very fresh, but that's life, man. And it's an unfortunate events that took his life. So, but on that sad note,
I mean, everybody to the Super Bowl. And if you're a fan of Kansas City, good luck. If you're a fan of Tampa Bay, good luck. We're not saying away for Tampa Bay. Kansas City's excited because they have their young gun. So if y'all are fans of any of those teams, I mean, good luck. Enjoy the game. Have fun watching the Super Bowl. I'll tune in if I can. But yeah, I'll definitely watch highlights of it for sure. But
we still got a week. We got the pole ball that's not even happening this week.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so we got a week break, and I don't know, Jeff. I'm going to watch it. I don't know if I'll watch it live. I might record it, because first of all, I got to go to bed early. I got to get up at the crack. I get up at 2 a.m. every morning. And if it's not my team, I don't stay up late to watch. Usually, I will record it and I'll watch the whole game and the commercials next day. But we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling that night. And when it starts, and when we lost the game, I told my wife, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'm not watching it. We should be there. I'm pissed. But a couple days later, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl. It's gonna be a good game. I think it's a close game. Kansas City is probably going to win. But that's going to wrap up this episode number 36. We want to apologize for the technical difficulties. Don't know why that's happening this episode.
It won't happen again.
A lot of editing to take care of this episode. I feel bad for this.
It's in the beginning of it. It's not too bad though. Once I fixed it, it was fine.
So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you again jumping on me on this week, and
follow us on all the platforms and stuff. I just live streamed Resident Evil Village demo today, so go take a look at that.
I watched it for a little bit, and very spooky, eerie, lights off type of game, good graphics. And so go check that out. And we're on Facebook, Watson's Playbook at Facebook. I've been doing a lot of teaser trailers coming up for our new episodes coming. And so take a look at those. We're on every platform you can think of. Google, we're on Google Podcasts, on Apple Music, and everything else, and everything in between. So if you want to reach out to us personally, would love to have your comments and feedback. Watson'sPlaybook@gmail.com. Email us any questions you have, sports takes, opinions, personal views, whatever you want to talk about. I'm here for you. Definitely reach out to me, and God bless you all. Hope you have a fantastic week. Jeff, you have a great week. Be safe out there in the snow.
I will.
And
everybody, stay safe. You stay safe too, man.
Yeah, we'll do it. It's been fantastic weather here. It's been in the 60s during the day, 40s at night, maybe some high 30s. Been fantastic. I love that weather. We had a
cherish it, Brian.
Yes, I had because a couple months from now it's going to be 105, and I'm going to be sweating to death. We had a very mild winter again. That's back-to-back years. Very, very, very mild winters. I don't know. I don't know if we got another cold front coming in. But that being said, stay safe, guys, and have a good week.
Take care.
You can be mentored by people who aren't alive.
100%. Because their stories still live. These muses are here. It's important to learn from them. Because you realize they're people just like us. They made mistakes just like us. And they kept going. We can do the same.
You know, they say we die twice. Once when the breath leaves our body, and once when the last person we know says our name.
And he would be shooting baskets in the dark because they hadn't even turned the lights on yet. He'd be there an hour, 2 hours before everybody. Everybody would be at breakfast, and he would show up fully sweated out, like he'd just done 3 hours of work, and before anybody did anything.
How much harder will you work in this offseason now to get back to the championship?
I'll push myself to exhaustion. I play games with the flu. I play games with 102-degree fever, man. Yeah, I made a promise to myself. I was going to work that hard every single day. When I do retire, I have no regrets. If I could work that hard every day, what would my career be?
Lower Marion High School in Pennsylvania.
This kid right here, mark my words, is going to be unbelievable.
There you see Kobe Bryant in the foreground, the man many have dubbed the next Michael Jordan.
He wants it so bad and he's willing to go to the extreme at the age of 34 playing 38 minutes. That's ludicrous. He's cursed as much as I am.
He just wanted to get to the offensive and go one-on-one. I'm going to make his ass work now. It was fun to be out there.
This man played with a broken finger and won a championship. To Garnett, back to Elvin.
Angeles Lakers on three-peat and a sweep.
Their fourth NBA championship.
The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
Falls down, and he is hurting. But the Lakers beat him at the free throw line.
My family walks in. I had tears in my eyes. And, they're looking at you and stuff, and I'm like, it's all right. Dad's going to be all right. We'll be fine. As a parent, you got to set the example. This obstacle cannot define me. It's not going to be responsible for me stepping away for the game that I love. I'm going to step away on my own terms. We all have shit that we go through. We all have obstacles that were in our way at some point or another. We all had doubt. But we chose. We chose. Using the darker emotions, the anger or resentment or frustration and sadness, using that as a weapon. No matter what happens, the storm eventually ends. And when the storm does end, you want to make sure that you're ready. I've really learned to put one foot in front of the other, because eventually that storm passes.
Those times when you get up early and you work hard, Those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream.
I didn't know if I could do it. You know, it was my daughter who kind of put things in perspective for me. Gianna, she's now 13, and she was like, well, you always tell us to go for it.
We're not on this stage just because of talent or ability. We're up here because of 4 a.m. We're up here because of 2-a-days or 5-a-days. We're up here because we had a dream and let nothing stand in our way. If anything tried to bring us down, we used it to make us stronger. We were never satisfied, never finished. We'll never be retired.
That's how you have to be if you want to be a winner. There's just no way around it.
Rest at the end, not in the middle. And I took that to heart. My next dream is to be honored one day for inspiring the next generation of athletes to have a dream, sacrifice for it, and never, ever rest in the middle.
Uncommon amongst uncommon people.
Yesterday was supposed to be a celebratory day, and then we got tragic news about Kobe Bryant, and everything changed in a second. Life is short and it's fragile, and we don't know how many birthdays we have, so celebrate life. And if you haven't told someone you love them, do it now. Do it. Tell people you love them. Call your friends, text your friends, hug them, kiss them.
And when I took it to the Laker game, we just had so much fun because for the first time I was seeing the game through her eyes. And she had such a great time as a father. You just
That's all you want. That's all you can ask for.
Yes.
No one knows how much time we have. That's why we must live in the moment. We must enjoy the moment.
It was her. Like, she was having such a good time, and the players were coming up and saying hi to her, and you know, Brown was talking about her fadeaway and all. You know,
We must reach and see and spend as much time as we can with our families and friends and the people that we absolutely love.
the most important thing in life is how your career moves and touches those around you, and how it carries forward to the next generation. Do you realize that's what makes true greatness?